All right, guys. Welcome. Another great day for trading. Lots of excitement today. There's news coming up this afternoon. That always makes the market go a little wild. So we're watching for that. Maybe not over trading this afternoon, but we're always paying attention because we want to see what's happening. Or, maybe we are trading, using it to our advantage if we're feeling pretty adventurous, I guess, right? So I hope everybody's having a great day. I just wanted to come on and go over some ideas and relook at some stuff we were looking at yesterday. Um, Obviously, we saw the move up to the top of our curve idea. It didn't really have the guts to break up through and head to these really high areas. We didn't really expect it to, but anyways, I mean, we got right to our level within a few dollars. I mean, if you get that close to target and you're not willing to hit the button, you know, your own problem, I guess, right? But regardless, no, I didn't take this full long yesterday. I kind of traded it up a bit, but I did get in on the short. I have a position on the short right now, not a massive one again because of the news today, but I'm always trading, big or small trades. I'm always trying to fresh, stay on top of things. So right now we're looking at the idea that we are gonna head back down. Same thing we talked about yesterday when we were considering, falling down to this area if we couldn't hold this wedge. But clearly we held. We came up through, and we did a retest and pushed up to our target ideas pretty quickly, actually. So that's perfect. That's the kind of trade we want, right? We don't want to get stuck in something for a couple of days when our idea was just to see a quick run somewhere. So that's great. Now, again, the idea, I add these lines I wanted to just share. So when if I ever come on here and I'm sharing this wedge idea, there's really two buy opportunities for a situation like that, and only two. I mean, nothing in the middle here is what you're looking for. You're really looking for a pull or a push to the bottom area of the idea or to the top area and seeing a breakout of it and a retest, because those are the two areas where volume actually comes in. That's where everybody's trading off of. Everybody's trading off of the fourth touch on the bottom of this falling wedge, or everybody's trading off of the idea that we're going to break out, pull back into a retest. That's where your volume comes in. That's where you're going to make your quickest money on your trades. Not getting, stuck in the wish-wash. Obviously, it's much different if you're on the small time frames. There's money to be made in here if you know what you're doing, but that's high risk stuff. So I mean, if you're a little unsure and you're still just trying to learn patterns and ideas, you kind of want to stay out of the. It's fun to go in there and watch and play out ideas because you can see charts play out better. It's fun to just watch and really stick to the higher time frames at first. Give you a chance to stay calm and not get in a panic. You don't want to be in here all emotional. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good for our idea right now. So we're just gonna watch, take it level by level. But again, today is news, and it's probably we're gonna see some type of a reaction. The question is the news going to change the markets, or is the news already decided because of the markets? Now, two scenarios that we do have. If this plays out in favor for us, could be looking at possibly, taking a long idea down here if we get the right signs. It depends on what this next pattern does as to what we're going to choose to do over here if we get there. Maybe we get news today and we blast up to these ideas. Really hard to say, right? So again, we're just taking it level by level, trying to make the best plays that we can. excuse me, we are looking for we're looking for a golden cross here between the 50 and the 200. If we do get that, that could spark a lot of action. We do see the volume is up a bit here, but I mean, it's not a lot compared to other moments, but that could all change here in what is it, an hour and a half, maybe an hour and a half. So these are things to watch for as we go on here for the next couple hours. We're going to look to see if we can break the blue curve or if we actually push down to this level. If we break this curve, I'm considering the idea that we could get a run up to this area quickly. If we can't break this and this holds, I mean, the idea way back here when we were looking at this is that we would run up to the top area here and then fall back down, possibly down, bearish retest, and down to the 91 area. But again, happening on a day like today, out of all times that this pattern would normally play out, news like today could be the thing to kind of break that. So have to wait and see what happens. And I'm not one to trade news or pay too much attention to news, but you do have to realize that if you're going to be trading smaller time frame stuff, the news is going to impact price, even if it's momentarily. And it's probably going to impact it enough to get you stopped out of a position that you thought was right, just long enough for you to be right and the position to play through. That's kind of how it happens, right? So we want to try to just consider a few ideas here and be prepared for everything that we can. And once we get to that moment and we see these areas being hit, we can make our decisions from there. A couple other things that we did look at yesterday. We looked at a few things in the stock market. One of the bigger ones that we looked at was Arab. We were watching for the idea that we might see some type of a breakout of this pattern. Now, we didn't get anything crazy, but we did see a nice 46% push out of there. I mean, for the stock market, that's pretty insane. But I mean, we're still watching for this thing to actually make some moves here in a bullish position. So eyes on this one still. PLRZ we were looking at hasn't really done much yet. Actually did add a little bit. This is kind of like my side fun account. The only reason I even open things on this is to just kind of have a marker of my positions and where they are on my other account where I do trade most of my stocks. So this is just a place where I can kind of have like a little visual representation of where my actual positions are at. But this is another one that I was looking. I mean, we traded this back here, but again, we're watching for that second pattern to form and some type of a run to happen. This is the chart that I shared online the other day. These high risk stock trades, but call me crazy. These things recently have been giving me pretty insane results, whether it's been biotech or pharmaceuticals. I see these long drawn out patterns and they end up having a moment where they spike. I get a nice run and I walk away. Lucid, we looked at yesterday. Again, we're still watching the same idea on this. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. I don't plan on it going anywhere. Ignore the stop loss on this. I'm scaling into this with no loss, obviously, intended personally. Don't do what I do. I'm not a financial advisor. Yeah, I actually plan on scaling into this as it pushes these levels on the idea that we're getting pretty close to the bottom and we're going to see some type of a run regardless. Believe it or not, I'm not a news person, so I could care less about the news on a lot of these. Oftentimes, I'll catch my trades on these stocks, and I won't really even know much about the project or where it's at. It's really based off of the price history. If I see this on a chart that just came out, I won't trade it. But if it's on something that's been there for a long time and it's drawn out, I'll take a chance on that idea. So it just depends on the situation. Market Cipher often helps me make those decisions. 90% of the time when I'm catching something like this in the stock market, it's because I've used Market Cipher and I've saw a momentum change coming, and I've just followed that. We've managed to catch nice runs on. Back to crypto, Bitcoin probably not doing it. We're forming some kind of a pattern up here. Could be bullish. Could very well be bullish if we can hold. Very possible. Pull it from back there, but I mean that's not impossible, right? That target idea there kind of puts us pretty close to our idea for where we might see the top. So I mean that could make a lot of sense if this pattern's able to hold here. I mean, again, at this point, I mean, shorts taken, and you can pull yourself to. I mean, I'll probably do this at this point. Looking at this, I'll probably pull my short at this point to a position where I'm just in profits. No point in taking the loss if you're unsure at all. So, if I'm right, we shouldn't break through these levels, and if I'm wrong, we do, and I don't have to worry about it. Trade. So, I'm still sticking with my guns on the downward direction on this trade. But on all the days to be proven wrong, it would be the day with big news. You know, a lot of trigger fingers in the market. So time will tell. And only yesterday, actually, I wanted to. This is another example of these patterns. Okay, so if we're looking at one of these curve ideas, I want to make this very clear. The first time we draw this curve, it's an idea of a trend. It will at some point either accept the curve and it's done, and other signs will show you the fall through. If it breaks up again, there's a good chance you're going to see the same thing happen over and over again until it finds its full extension, and then that's when you'll see your move down. So just because you come onto the computer and you're able to draw one of these right away on a small pattern doesn't mean it's going to just immediately break down or break up in your favor. You kind of have to be patient with the way. It's just like any other trend. It's just like how a falling wedge or rising wedge will slowly change its main base into the higher time frame. So you just have to be mindful for that. But again, when that happens, this pattern idea doesn't change. It just stretches out over a bit further of a time frame than expected. So we've got the same idea going for Ethereum, but again, we just had to, until we feel like that calculation is done, that has to kind of continue to be moved. And as you do that, you'll see it'll start to match up with more and more contact points. And becomes more and more valid until you see that result happen. So Bitcoin is working in our favor very well right now. What more could you ask for, honestly? Straight from the bottom of the wedge, right to the top of the curve. Double test on the top of the curve idea, and then back down. That would just make for a great day. And don't worry when it dumps, though. They'll blame the news. and we'll never get the gratification as technical analysis that we are able to front run news. Never, we will never get our credit where it's due. It will always be the news, even though we know the truth, right? Know it's the charts. Hey, Rick, see you're in here. Very cool, very cool. Thanks for joining, man. I hope you're having a great day. Getting ready for the news to come up and see what the markets are going to do. Not sure where you are today, Rick, but it's pretty wet over here, so I'm happy to be inside watching news and doing charts today. Now, yesterday I was also going over a short idea we had on Shiba. I've closed out of that short. I was hoping for this target. We were trading this head and shoulders idea on the bearish retest. I wasn't getting the momentum down that I wanted. It very well could still play out, and it happened, and then we get some type of bullish divergence down here before we go. But when in doubt, I closed the trade, happy with the money that I did get. When it started reversing on a day like today, I didn't want to lose the whole trade, so I just took what I could get, and I was very happy. She was usually pretty predictable. I've shared both of these out in the trading group, both in a row, and both of them played out to predicted targets. So, I mean, if you can find something that has volume, it's consistent, you can find patterns in it to play out, that's perfect. We don't need you don't need to be in or watching 100 different coins. It's actually probably a terrible investment for your brain capacity and your wallet to be overextended in such a volatile market. So keep it simple. Find a few things that you like and get used to trading them. Now, again, I'm not going to go through too much of this stuff. Actually, let's take a look at dominance if anybody's in here. So switch to my other chart. All right. So dominance is peaking out aggressively right now. The last time the dominance did this was up at these levels. We saw a hyperbolic mad rush to the top with dominance, and then alt season began. The real alt season, not like the little mini alt seasons everybody's claiming happened in the past 4 to 5 years. I mean, like the 2020, 2021, this area of alts, and then the hyperbolic area of alts, where we really saw insane numbers happen. So, in my opinion, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. Never spend your own money based on something a guy with a blue camo fedora said on you. It's the one lesson you should take. But yeah, so we're up in these ranges. When this turns, we could see really insane volume go into alts. So back when we were running the group, I was sharing setups, and we were posting target ideas of 500-600%, and we thought that was madness. And we were really excited if we got 300-400% of that. In those couple of years, we were seeing coins that we didn't even think were going to move do 10,000% in a month or two. They returned. Don't worry, they returned and then some. That's what crypto does. So pay yourself. But if we do see this run, it is going to be madness. Again, technical analysis is how we navigate that. When saying to go and buy up all of the alts, need to go in, find patterns, trade smart. But if we are going to see momentum change in the favor of alts, it's going to be a great time to start looking at all the bullish patterns we trade. They're going to start paying out. market cap has to push pretty hard right now to surprise me. So I'm not convinced that it's time for anything completely crazy to happen. I would like to see this break. Something similar to what we've seen in the past, where we are just kind of running these ranges. Right now, wherever it might be, there's a line here that's not quite formed, and we're going to have to push through that to see that next big run up. I don't see us being there just yet. But hey, this is crypto. Could be very wrong. Things happen very quickly in this market. Why we use risk management. I don't think anyone expected it to do the things that it's done up to this point. Okay, let's go back to the other Bitcoin chart. Looks like we are still heading down. Momentum on our market cipher. 15-minute is kind of going in favor of our idea here. Try to show you this, but I'm upgrading my gear. Sometimes when I try to do this, it lags my system. But I do have just can't really see it, can you? All short right now. Nothing big. I'm not going to do anything crazy on a day like today. These are the ideas. On a day when it's normal, these are the ideas that I'm trading on. But on a day like today, I'm not going to get too aggressive. So I'll trade on an idea, but risking a whole bunch of money on a day when things could just technical analysis can do one thing, but you never know how much panic or fear or FOMO is going to happen, and your perfect idea could go wrong immediately. So again, we do have a short open. But we're not doing anything crazy on today. And we're going to take that as a milestone because apparently the small upgrade that I did to my computer made it so my OBS didn't crash when I showed you that. Last time I tried to do trading and live streaming at the same time, my old laptop couldn't take it, so I had to upgrade it. Hey, Clay the Great, cheers, man. Hope you're having a good day, brother. These bad boys are finely groomed. No one touches them but my comb. It costs more than the trading group, my goodness. Speaking of trading groups, there is a free section to the Discord. The links are below. If you just want to jump in, maybe ask some questions about what the paid Discord's about, or if you just want to be a part of the free Discord, you can hang out in there. I'm working on doing free sessions for the people that are in the free Discord every Sunday. So if you jump in there and hang out on Sunday afternoons, I'll come in. We'll do a screen share on Discord. I'll go over some ideas and we'll talk about stuff and maybe see if you're the type of person that might benefit from being in the group with us. And if you are here, we really appreciate you being here with us. Like, subscribe, and share it out with people. We're going to be here for a while sharing ideas. I mean, come on. Yesterday, if you had joined us and went over these ideas with us, you would have had a pretty nice trade and you would have had a pretty good target idea for the top. I mean, you can't get more. It was so precise that it's almost like we look like we're cheating today. That's how precise we were with things yesterday. But this is, you can go back and look. This is the exact plan that we've been talking about for 2 days now. We were talking about this idea in the group and online way back when the price action was only here. Right back when we had the first touchdown here, this now became our entry idea for these top areas. And it's played out perfectly for us. So you don't know how or why things like that can happen. Even joining the free group might be very beneficial to you. I'm very keen on being here for people to learn this market because I think it can change a lot of people's lives. I've been trading this market since 2017 or 18. Been in the group doing my thing since 2019, 2020, and I've seen the market help a lot of people and destroy a lot of people. It's really great to see the community growing that's out there, of people that want to help people navigate the market, because they're nasty. They can be great, but like, let's be realistic here. There's very ill intention behind a lot of the price action. It's meant to take all of your money very quickly. So all of the hardcore people out there, like Crypto Face was doing this long before I even got into stuff. I mean, he was one of the first people that I watched. Tom Crown's been here for a long time. And then to see all these other guys that have come up over the past few years, I'm not sure exactly when Casper started, but he's incredible. Alex O is amazing. So it's super cool to see all these guys. Yeah, that's just, when I first started doing this, all of the groups and communities, except for a handful, were not the most inviting places, and they were a little scammy. And all of these groups that are out now are actually here to help you do better. So it's an incredible space that this is turning into. I trust these crypto guys more than I would trust someone that works at my local bank at this point. Not financial advice, but that's the reality of what it's becoming. It's a nice space. Hey, newbie crypto, nice to see ya. Thanks for stopping in. We're trying to get out here and do this every day. Normally we're doing it earlier. I've been trying to come on at 7 and front run all of the other guys that are doing great content so that I can get in before they start, and then they can go on and do their thing after that. But today we ran it a little later in the day, hoping that we could maybe talk about the upcoming action just before it happened, give us a better idea, give us a little more data before we started considering what might happen when news hits here. Yeah, it's nice to see you in here. We appreciate it. And if you weren't here a minute ago, join the free Discord. And if you're into trading and all of the amazing things that come with it, we'll work together and we'll get everybody right where they want to be. That's the whole goal behind Infinite Team TA. The motto of the group is "Let us grow." We want to see everybody do really well in this community. We want to see everybody get where they want to be in the world. Now, let's look at some bigger picture stuff here. Let's break down a couple ideas on a higher time frame. Take a look at ETH. So, look pretty generic, right? Seems pretty self-explanatory. I don't even know if I have to talk about what I think is going to happen with Ethereum. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So if we considered the fact that the last time we had a bull run for alts, a real one, it was when this area happened. Maybe we're about to see something similar. Because again, we're never going to get up, up, up. We're going to get our swing. Some other pattern will form. Obviously, this was a head and shoulders, and then we get our downward motion. Then we get our curve pattern. We consolidate. You know, it's just market cycle. You've got accumulation, markup, some form of a distribution phase, and then you have your markdown, accumulation, markup. It's a repetitive cycle, and I mean, it's anybody's guess as to where we are in that cycle as you're jumping through different time frames, but you're looking to lock in on a certain idea. You can be a little more confident on your specific time frame, just even taking something like consideration. So, I mean, me and the rest of the world are still pretty bullish on something like Ethereum, especially when it's the thing that amazes me the most after all the time that I've spent in this market and all the people that I've worked with is the amount of people that will come into the market and they will buy this and they will buy this confidently without speaking to anyone. And then they will join the group because they lost almost everything. And when you try to convince them that this is the place to buy, you can't do it. So they leave the group, they think you're crazy, and then the next cycle happens and they message you back up because they bought this again. People have to start thinking like 5% to 1% of the world and not 95. I mean, if everybody else is doing it, if everybody else is buying it, that's probably wrong. So even just a few days ago, all these alts, not days, my apologies, when all of these alts were at these screaming low little points here, back in, when alts were pulling to these really low levels and everyone was panicking, we have been sitting in the group saying, this is great. We're forming small bullish patterns and we're at like super low levels right now. You can trade more confidently. This is a beautiful area for the market to be at right. And everybody's running away. Everybody's afraid of it. Nobody wants to touch it. Most people are gone until this line gets hit, until all the indicators go off. So people need to start learning to pay attention down here where it counts. I can't tell you exactly when this is going here, but I can tell you that it's a better investment than if you bought something here and here. Not a financial advisor. Does this take longer? Yes. Does it give you a much larger reward? 400% it. So you get up here, you risk all your money. Let's think you don't want a big move, but you want at least 30% because this is crypto. You risk all your money and you need to see that to get 30%. Down here, we've been getting 20% per trade. Per trade. On these little patterns. Little tiny candle. So when these things are low, they are more volatile. It is more dangerous. But if you're picking smart coins that have lots of price action history, that you can have confidence in high time frame bottom ideas, this is the difference in result. Way up here, that same trade is worth half. And it's exceptionally risky compared to way down here. Pretty straightforward, right? But it's not because people don't pay attention and they wait for this whole column over here Sorry, when I say that, I mean this column right here. They wait for this to go on and they want to see every single coin in this bright green and flashing like a Christmas tree. And those are the days that they decide to buy. That is wrong. Anyways, I've rambled and I'm just sharing some ideas. Let's see what Bitcoin is or is not doing. Let's hope it's bearish retesting for continuation down. Again, you got to take patterns on small time frames like this with a grain of salt compared to the larger time frame idea. This coin was also very good to us. We had a really nice trade in the group on this. We most definitely caught this on this curve idea. I mean, it's potentially not done. Maybe you see it come back down and ride up this and take off. Not because I believe in anything one way or another politically, but because I believe in charts, FOMO, and people pumping crypto for good or for bad. I've just seen the market cycles play out enough. But again, this is the great example where everybody gets wrecked in this market because this can happen and it can give you this perfect pattern. Falling wedge, 1, 2, 3, fourth touch, bottom of a falling wedge. And then it turns into a double bottom. You get this nice curving idea happening here. Market ciphers down here, and all of a sudden you see this really big pullback, and then you get a trigger wave. Boom. Trigger wave on the market cipher, 12-hour time frame, big falling wedge. It lines up like candy. Explosion for the trade. How many people do you think went onto their computer that day and saw Trump at 15 and thought, oh, wow, it's going back to $70. I'm buying. So don't do that. No herd mentality stuff. We don't buy green. I mean, people might, but I try to tell people to invest as not a financial advisor, just the bigger this candle gets, me the more gamble. I don't consider buying a pattern on a high time frame based on previous trades that I've done being successful gambling. I call that calculated trading. Me seeing that pattern break out and print a giant candle on the 12-hour and even trying to get in there based on a little tiny pattern on the 1 minute, that's totally gambling, which is fine if you know what you're doing. Getting in there on the 1 minute down here is how you get into that trade and you ride that trade out to target. But that means you know how to navigate time frames. It means you know how to pull targets from different time frames, pull entries from different time frames, and you know how to piece that together as a plan that actually makes sense. That takes a lot of time to do. So unless you know how to do that, you have no business buying tops, any of this. Pay attention when it's way down at the bottom. Oh, geez, sorry, this is a chart, isn't it? Again, just sharing. Look at these ideas here, okay? Every single time, nothing changes. Nothing changes. You have accumulation, you have markup, you have distribution, you have markdown. It's always lingering low, big run up, sell off. Lingering low, big run up, sell off. Big run up, sell off. But the thing is, just like we haven't seen in a long, long time, I don't even know if I should keep this video up. This is just too much information here, guys. This is how you get rich here. Goodness, not financial advice. The charts are starting to look really, really good on the big time frames. We are seeing lots of long, drawn out patterns. That's it. Not showing any more. You want to see more? Come join us on Sunday in the Discord, and I will share more. I'm sure I'll share more, but I can't share it all. Come on. Okay, so we are pulling back up again. Can't really take this pattern as anything yet. It hasn't really formed. I mean, that's pretty valid. There's 1, 2, 3 points there. So, I mean, we could still be ranging in the same pattern idea. Much like I explained about the curve, right? It starts out as this being the pattern, and then it'll break into this, and it'll grow until you find where the actual shape is. You got to kind of change with the motions on the small time frames. Can't get anything in your head in stone when the market's changing minute by minute. You kind of have to as well. That's the benefit that you have on the 6 hour or daily time frame. You don't have to be changing your mind or training your brain quickly and have more time to breathe. Don't get as emotional. You get in here and you throw money in, you lose confidence at all, panic sets in, bad choices start happening super fast. That being said, you can paper trade. I mean, I would recommend that to anybody that has an option to do it. Go get a paper trading account and try to trade your face off in 1 minute and 10-second time frame. Make up a bunch of trades, paper trading only. Make up a bunch of trades, chart out patterns, watch them play out. You're just it's basically the matrix when it comes to these patterns. You're going to see the same style of patterns on the smaller time frames, but you're going to get to see them play out quicker. Now, over time, that can give you a little more confidence when looking at patterns and stuff on bigger time. I mean, there's lots of different ways to trade, though. Something that works for you, cool. And if it's not and you have your own strategy, that's amazing too. I think there's an expression for that, but I'm not going to use it. Awesome. I appreciate that. Take a quick look at gold. I haven't even looked at gold. Not really up much. Good luck trying to call bearish signs on this right now. Wouldn't dare. That is a genuine cup and handle pattern right there. My goodness. Pretty sure a cup and handle pattern technically has to be 200 and some plus days to be considered a valid pattern. So a lot of times I think technically when we're seeing them, in super small time frames, it's not what you would call a standard. I mean, it's obviously cup and handle and they obviously play out, but this is a real by the textbooks, beautiful pattern. The question is, and I asked this in another video they did, and I made a few posts about it. Maybe if you have any ideas and you're in here and you want to share, please share your ideas. Where does all this money go when inevitably we're going to have some type of pullback? The last time we did, it sparked a run in Bitcoin. Where was it? It was just, I think it was just this little one here. Just this little, was either this one or this one. And it sparked a big run. So I'm wondering if something up here happens and we get a top out and even a pullback, maybe just a small one to test 3 again. I wonder if we see that have a big impact on the price that we see on Bitcoin. Gold spot dumps down, Bitcoin hits 120, Bitcoin dominance peaks out, altcoin season starts. And in that order, just when we want it to. That's the hopium ring. But it's not going to go. So is this where we sit then? I guess it is. This is the pattern. This is the news pattern. The predictions, whichever way it actually decides to go, it is most definitely going to fake out the other way and destroy everyone it can before it does it. So if it plans on going down, it's going to up very quickly and then go down, or vice versa. How could it not, right? Hmm. Okay. Exactly is this? Anyways, like 130, I believe it was. Okay. Give me a moment, guys. I'm going to go up my coffee and I will return. Are back, and we are back. Again, if you're with us, we really appreciate being here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Trying to build a community of like minded traders who are serious about trading and want to grow in this space. It's a long, dredging haul to do it, but it can be done. I am proof of it. I have been full time trading for 5 or 6 years, depending on when you want to classify it as starting. 5 years is good enough. I'll take it. So it's possible you can do it. So if you are of the mind and you would like to learn to grow and to be that someday, start watching people online, go slow. You'll eventually find yourself in a place where it's an option. Don't take all of your money out of your savings account and start trading today. That is a terrible idea. The markets are not going anywhere, but your money is if you jump in unprepared. That simple. I was thinking about bringing up something. I want to watch the news. I'd rather just watch the charts and talk about it. Anybody's watching the news and something epic happens, tell me. Not a news guy. Can't count the amount of times that I've been right about a trade or an idea, and whether it be influence from social media, influence from news, or even just word of mouth from a friend that I spoke to about my idea. So easy for someone or something to plant a small seed in your head that gives you doubt about your own idea. And personally, more often than not, that little bit of doubt that actually manages to fester into my trading plan is what causes me success on the trade. So I'm very keen on what I absorb. For instance, here's a great example. Alex O is a great way to start the day for me, because we go on. He goes on. He talks about things and his ideas and the way that he might do things, but at no point does he ever stuff ideas down your throat about what they might think is going to happen. For sure, we're speaking about different ideas that could happen and what you could do. Completely different than when you go online and someone's just stuffing it down your face that say this particular coin is going to $5. It's going to change your life. If you're a trader, those are unhealthy relationships, in my personal opinion. Anything that relates to the definite world has nothing to do with you trading on a daily basis. You're concerned about patterns, price action, and things that other traders are concerned about as a trader. You're not concerned about what some guy on YouTube who has billion XRP has to say. He's riding a different journey than you. He's on a different path. He actually believes that if he just keeps buying XRP, someday he will be rich, and that's fine. He might just do so. You're coming into this market as a trader. You and him are not in the same realm. So when you try to enter a trade on a short on XRP and then he tells you it's going to the moon someday, you close your short and then you were right about the short. You're trading a completely different world trader than people who are holders. Stay in your realm, or you're going to get a lot of mixed emotions about your own decisions. Again, that's a personal opinion. There is nothing wrong with getting opinions from a lot of different sources. Just make sure they're sources that benefit what you're going for. There's only a very select few people who I even watch as content creators. That's why. After all the time I've been doing this, I can still find myself being decisive, have to avoid things or emotional. If channels are getting me too excited about things, I've got to reel it in. Probably not partake in some of those festivities anymore. Person, don't let it take you 5 to 6 years to figure out what your triggers are going to be in the market. You'll learn those first. Those triggers, once they get sprung, are the things that will cost you all your money. So if you're able to handle that in that time when it happens, you're gonna come out of that situation a lot better. You're not aware of the fact that you're becoming emotional and what might make you emotional. At any given moment, you're no longer making a good judgment call. Well, for lack of better word, you're pissing in the wind. You're frustrated or you're euphorically excited, and there's no structure to your idea. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing, eh? Well, it's good stuff to hear over and over again because um, it's not until you find yourself in that moment that it really matters, right? It's all hunky dory until you're up a lot or down a lot, and then all your brain just shuts down. Yeah, let me look into this. Give me a second. I think we got 25 minutes till the news drop. I'd really like to see something awesome happen. My goal every time that we do any of this when it's big news is that we just completely nail the move before the news comes out. That way we can prove finally once and for all that charts make the world spin and not the other way around. Should be able to find. Okay, so it's 2, not 1:30. Yeah, I still came on too soon. We've got to wait now. That's okay though. That just gives us more time to absorb what may or may not happen by the time we get there, right? So 2 o'clock, it looks like we get the news. Maybe I will. What I'll do is I'll set up for next time, and maybe we'll try to watch the news as it goes this time. But next time I'll try to set up for that. I have just recently upgraded everything in my office, so new computer, new setups, new programs, just kind of breaking everything down. Been under a rock in Telegram for 5 years running my group, and then finally I said, you know what, time to pick it up a notch and bring Infinite Team TA to the world and share our positive energy and our good vibes and our technical analysis. Right. That's a big. I think a lot of people that have been in our group that are because I've got a handful of people that are in there and they're lifers. They've been in there for the entirety of me having the group and they have no intentions on leaving. And I think it's a lot more family based than trading based. Some of those guys. So we're setting up goals for each other, and we're conquering, and we're growing. That's the whole basis of the group. Hence the giant muscle arm that says, "Let us grow." Great appreciation for everybody that's here right now. It means a lot. Believe it or not, I have been doing this now for a little while. I'm sure you probably believe the hard world out there, but I've been sharing pretty decent content for some time, and I'm very excited to see people in here because this is the first day, and I mean first day, I haven't done this for an hour, 2 hours to nobody. So that means progress. But I've been pushing really hard lately, so good to see a little bit of traction coming in. That makes me feel really great. So that's on you guys, and I really appreciate it. Now, Bitcoin would only just dump, then we'd look super incredible, and my ticket would also go up a lot too. So yeah, so I mean, if we get some crazy wick down in my area, I make an easy 50, $100. If it decides to spike up the other way, I lose 10. Who cares? Hanging out, charting. Now, typically on a trade setup like this is where I would put my trade in. And the same thing, not on this, but on this second try at it. That's where I would really put my trade in. But not on a day like today. Because you're entering this trade on the idea that it could take, say, over a day to play out. Easy, a day to play out if we stay in this range. Well, the news is only an hour away. So it's only going to take 1 hour potentially for your idea to be completely crushed. So why not wait that hour or two? Once this is done and things settle over, and look at all these positions and consider a serious position. I mean, if news ends and the smoke clears and we're still way up here and it's looking like a bearish pattern, then maybe I'll consider adding to the short. But if news ends and we stay in this and we print a flag here, probably going to start looking at the other direction. This originally on our idea from down here, this was last target, but the requirement for it to be hit was that we would have seriously bullish price action. This flag fills out and the target move is exactly to there, looking pretty good, right? So I'm personally on the fence myself. I was very confident that this would hold to this, but I'm rather on the fence about whether or not this news causes us to push or dump. I don't have a newbie crypto. Hey, thank you. It's the small victories after a lot of work. Beating that algorithm is like fighting one of the hardest bosses in any video game I've ever played. There's combos that I don't understand. Have to have all of the potions in your bag. It is so difficult to get on top of the algorithm. But it's cool people like you that stumble upon and make comments and join into the group that kind of help us get out there. So very grateful for you, my friend. I really want to add to this right now. Might go do that on my other. I think I'm going to go do that. Un moment. I am going to go onto my other account and add to this position. Don't do what I do. Just a YouTuber. I am not a financier. Not give financial. Everything I say is for entertainment purposes only. Don't do what I do. Do your own research. Perfect. There we go. Now, again, if you weren't here earlier when I was explaining this one, I had purchased this the other day on the idea that we were going to see some type of a crazy move out of here. Not necessarily the here. So I saw this on the 12-hour. We were dragging down below in the big falling wedge. Super, super pinched price action. Our market cipher here was changing direction. Everything was just looking amazing for this to at least try to push up that 200 line. And we certainly did, and then some. So that was the trade. I did really good on the trade, and then I brought it back. I think I started grabbing on this account. I started grabbing some at 68 cents on the way back, but just a small amount because the original buy that I got was 34 cents. So I shared those results and everything in the group. But so this is just kind of me taking, say, 2 or 3% of what I made, and I'll probably scale it back in down to here and just keep it forever in case it decides to go crazy. I try to do that on anything I do really well on. I'll always try to leave just a little bit of profits in case it's going to do something wrong. And again, this is another one I'm currently looking at now. Mind you, these are high risk stock ideas. But I mean, if you want to front run, I'm not trying to front run any economic disaster. I'm not trying to front run any company cutting red tape and having amazing news. I'm trying to look at what traders are looking for before traders find it, and I will make my buys, set my alarms, and forget about it for a few days. Arab took like I think it took me almost 2 weeks for it to play out. I was starting to wonder if it even would. And then one day I was just sitting at the computer having a coffee and it exploded. I mean, I was in way down here. Way down in this is when I got in because the split happened here. And when I knew the split was coming, I started buying. And after the split happened, I started adding. And then it had an explosive run up to the $22 area. And then once again, I took some profits from that, sent them over to this account. And then as it's come back down, I'll just poke away at it down here for fun with a small portion of the profits that I made. I mean, that was a really awesome trade. That was a really good day. But same thing, market cipher. I swear by it. It has paid for itself over and over and over again. I mean, that indicator paid for itself in this trade. This one single trade. The price of market cipher paid for itself. That is impressive. And paid for itself again on this trade. So it's in my personal opinion, it's my very favorite tool to have on my side. I mean, I used to have RSI, MACD, VWAP, and money flow, only in 4 charts all stacked on top of each other. So I mean, this is just beautifully done. Big shout outs to the. Okay. The Still not going to give us any clear decision. Now we have a new problem not a problem, but we have a new thing to consider here. That might have just been the bearish retest we were looking for. With it being unable to push up back into there, might just be a really good sign for our short. If it had have successfully pushed back up in those levels, would have most definitely validated this 1, 2, 3. It still might. If this comes back down again and holds here, this line's validated here. Whoever has the most touches wins. And you have to be very meticulous like that if you're going to trade low time frames, because it's as simple as a candle closing on the other side of a line that will change the entire trade. And if you're not noticing it, you're going to get wrecked. Just like that. Because the bots noticed it and all the other traders that have been doing this for 10 years noticed it. You didn't, and now you're wrecked. That's why I say go into the small time frames and just practice, practice, practice. You're going to mess up a lot getting used to those little tiny touches. Something as simple as, copying and pasting a line or cloning it down one exact bar just to get that perfect entry. These are things that guys think about very quickly. You might not even be considering. And you have to beat them if you want to take money out of this market on a. Yeah, market cipher for sure, big time. Forever grateful for the group. Like I said, when I first got into trading, CryptoFace was one of the main guys doing it back in 2019, 2020. He was crushing trades back then. That man stepped up his game. What an inspiration for, right? Anyways, anybody that's in here, obviously take everything that I've said with a grain of salt. What I do works for me. Everything I've said, just what works for me. So you can take that information and combine it with other things that you're learning right now and use that to your benefit and grow with that. It's a long journey, but it's worth it. It's absolutely, especially when the markets are as low as they are. In my opinion, this would be the time to get in and learn. Everybody's so willing to get in and learn in these markets when they're so high because everybody's friend is telling them to get into the market. Not how it works. So here's another little group plug. So I had a member in the group message me the other day. Actually, the first message that I got from him was about this coin. He was interested in it, and he wanted me to chart it for him and give him some ideas. So I charted this big falling wedge for him, and he got the run up out of the falling wedge. Did really well in the trade. I think they said they did about 8K on this pull here, which he was very excited about. And then as soon as it got up into this region and started to pull back and make this pattern, he inquired about it again. He said, "Hey, what do you think's going on here?" So I sent him this. So you're right in the Discord. I sent him this. I sent him this little falling pattern here. I said, watch for this to break up and do a big retest on our curve idea if we're going to continue. So we got the continuation. It played out. He scores another big run on it. Gets his profits. So we get online again yesterday or the day before, and he's talking about whether or not he should get back in. So we pull it up. We look at the pattern. We draw this out. Somewhere around here. It had not pulled back yet, But he was considering entering right on the bottom of this. I said, instead of entering right on the bottom of it, because it's so high up, why don't you consider waiting for it to break this curve? If it breaks this curve, then try to get an entry to the top. Maybe it breaks through and runs. But until it does that, just hold off on your re-entry. You've done good all the way up. And he was pretty happy the next day when he woke up and it played out like that. Broke down, broke through. He stayed out, kept his profits. Now we can reevaluate for the next move, right? You got to take it step by step. You can have a great plan, but if you don't pay attention to your money and babysit your trades, someone else who is paying attention is going to take your money and put it in their pocket. And that's a great part of just having a community, whether it's my group or any other group on here. That's one of the things that make these real communities so beneficial. The Caspers and the Alexos and the Crypto Face. You got a community of real traders to go over stuff like that. Everybody needs to have that. Not to a pushy extent, just a community extent. Anybody that's getting too pushy about one thing or the other has ill intention, a big fat wallet of. Got a little ways to go on the news just yet. Is there anybody in here that has anything maybe that they're holding that they want to look at or anything like that? I would actually be really happy to see this. And again, so when I'm scaling into something, I am scaling in as we go down, and only in certain moments. I have my plans down, so don't try to copy or anything. But I would actually be really happy to see this return right back down to my original entry. I mean, I took a large majority of my profits out up here. I'd be super excited to see entry price again. That would be incredible. I don't know what it is right now about the pharmaceutical biotech stocks. Here's a little secret that people might not tell you, or maybe they tell you all the time, and I just think I'm being kind. Go into Trading View, and you go to explore late at night, say like 12 o'clock at night, 1 in the morning, and you go to the explore section, and you look at not only high volume but unusual movement. Go in and you find a stock that has unusual movement, and you look at the daily time frame, and it's down underneath the 50. The 200 exists, and the gap is humongous. You're potentially, and okay, and so you want to not have seen this yet. If you catch it like the day after this happens, it might be a little bit. If you haven't seen it yet and the price is dropping, you're going to catch that first spike. But this is also a good indicator that this is going to continue to move. This thing is seeing more volume right here than it has seen in its entire life. There has never been volume like this. I mean, that doesn't mean that it's going back to $200 a share or anything, but it's something to pay attention to. Let's just relook at this like it's the first time I've seen it, okay? So again, if I had have seen this And this is when I got lucky and I caught it. I got it right at this perfect little split. But if I hadn't have seen that, my next consideration would be something like this. And regardless, at some point, it's inevitable that the market has to do it. It has to sweep up and correct things. And these things get so low that I know it's hard to chart them and it's hard to put actual ideas on them. When you get down into the smaller time frames and you combine it with the higher time frame ideas, you can clock entries on this stuff. But never when it's green. Again, never, ever buying green chunks. And I wouldn't buy any of this. The only reason that this was attractive to me is all of this had happened. All of this had happened. And we were sitting here flat with a split. And I just, in my opinion, that was it. Market Cipher on, I believe, the daily at that time was looking really nice. Yeah. So at that time on the daily, we were getting these little pushes more and more into the bearish swing, and we were going down and down and down, and then this was just perfection. Perfect signs, big run. I don't even remember what it was. It was a lot. I had a really good day this day. Yeah, it was it was a crazy run. That's Market Cipher. Just watching these indicators and looking for these swings on Market Cipher. They're insane. Yeah, let's do it. We will definitely look at GRT. Sure, Binance has volume. That's probably a decent reference point. I haven't looked at a GRT chart in a long time. I bet you I have this charted from a long time ago. Oh, I guess I maybe looked at it more recently than I thought. Okay, so we'll start with the weekly. Okay. I mean, it's definitely right down there in that swing area. Here, let's clear it. Let's go over how I would look at clear it and go over exactly how I would do this. So because this has a lot more price action, GRT's been around for a little while. Just for total fun. First thing I do with any coin is I just go and I pull big numbers all the way down. Just really good practice so you don't forget any ideas as you're moving along. And I take anything that seems like it's a big level. And I'll go in, say the daily. If I can't get what I want in the daily, I'll switch to the 3-day. I want to see the candles and the wicks. I don't want the mush. Okay, so I think this is a lot of these DeFi coins. I believe this is a DeFi era or DeFi time, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not super into projects, but I do recall this being around the time that those would have been big boomers. I think, DeFi was definitely the era where these coins came out and did the hyper pumps, like SPX. Yeah, they came out. That was the bull run. That was the last real bull run right there that we keep talking about in this stream. These were the coins that came out when that last real bull run happened. And this is what all of them are doing right now. And this is where we see them do that crazy thing. And I mean, not all of them will, but this is where you see them do that full on reversal and then higher high into insanity. Bull run everyone's been waiting for alts. Okay. So we've got our big time frame high support. We've got our pattern idea here on the 3-day. So now that I have a general idea, I'll pull it to the daily. I'll just double check it. Yeah, somewhere like that looks pretty. Just you want it on most points that you can get it on. Then I'll go through and I will, without looking at what's happening now, I will just look at what happened just before all the last runs. Just very simply, very quickly. Do see this. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to sit. That might be too closed off. But potentially right there, something like this. I mean, long term, because this is the 3-day time frame, I'd be looking for this to pinch down and pick a spot. I mean, it only has one way to go. You're pretty close to zero, right? Okay, so you're in way low, right? You're way down here. So I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is it's going to go to zero, which I highly doubt it. It obviously has volume. People are trading it. But you're way down here in these beautiful levels where things are not going to stay for long, if you ask me. The only thing you have to consider, and I'm sure you know this, is when you're down here, you're super volatile. So that little bit of a move looks insane on your portfolio. A few cent change and your portfolio's down 60% and panic ensues. But don't panic because, when you get back to the top of the position and you're up 20 cents on the dollar, then you're a happy person. So you expect the volatility down here, but if you believe in the coin, this is your scale and this is your buy-in, and you're taking your profits up here, right? Now some of these coins are right at the end. They've actually already gone through all of this and they're right at the end, and I think they're ready to move. And those are the ones that I'm concentrating on in the group. Stuff like this, it very well could do it this run, but something like this to me might be like a touch the top and try again and consolidate some more. Because what you'll notice is the price action will get very boring, very consolidated. It'll pinch in these ranges to the point that it's depressing, sad, and you give up all hope before they finally move. And it's like that by design, because people with lots of money have more patience and more equity to fight out that trade than you. But yeah, no, it looks good. It looks good down there, man. Stick it out. Not financial advice, but yeah, I mean, you're looking at the right stuff. If you're making those entries down here and not up here, you've been in crypto long enough to know what you're doing, and that's all that matters. Is that you're paying attention to these levels. This is where you're watching. This is where you're buying. This is where you're it's really hard for us to decide if this is going to immediately go up or if we're going to get one of these nice little patterns. And to be honest with you, either of them is a win, because if it runs up right now, whatever you have in there, you're going to do really good on. But if it does this and it starts to validate that idea for you and gives you more time to get confident in that bullish idea, maybe it gives you a chance to add to your position slowly and comfortably before it makes that move. So down here, being patient and being willing to look red for a while is going to pay off big. But up here, being impatient and just trying to get in there and get rich is why these guys down here take all your money. I mean, think about the people that buy all of this, and then think about the poor people that go on, and these guys sell all of their positions to these guys. So I think, yeah, you're definitely on the right end. This looks great. I don't know anything as far as fundamentals go for this. Hey, BH is in here. Yeah, all right. Let's run down that list then, okay? Oh yeah, David, you've seen it all. Yeah, you know. You've watched it all happen, my friend. Okay. BH, member of the group. Shout outs to him. He is in the trading group. He joined us a couple of months ago. He's very enthused to get into these markets and grow in this space and do really well. So he's a great person to have join in on the team. Perfect member. It's exactly what we're looking for. We want the people that wake up every day and that know the opportunities here, ready to take it. All right, MOG. Yes, this is one of those fresher ones. It's moving. Look at that, eh? Beautiful. So that's we were talking about when we did look at it. We had a couple of ideas. The first idea we were looking at was this bigger wedge, and then we had the idea for this flag type pattern. And clearly, it's playing out. So that's looking great. We got our cross. Now again, this is one of the coins for me. Now it does have data, but it's not as much data. But this is crypto, so it's when you get into stuff like this is where things become flat lines if the project has the right push. So it's not always a bad thing. I don't mean it in a bad way. You're actually looking right now. I'd be looking for this 12-hour golden cross. I mean, if you can see this price keep pushing up here, and you get that cross, maybe you pull back for a retest on it. But that's looking pretty solid. Momentum's there. Green volume. We had that swing we were looking for. See, it's very common. Even the crypto and the stock, right? You see this price action drawing down and pinching, and then you start to see this momentum change over here, and then you get this weird trigger wave anomaly, and everything just lines up perfectly, and your move starts. But yeah, now that's looking good. Where you're looking for it to hold strong, get other traders' attention, and start validating this idea of the 50 getting up over the 2 and getting your golden cross. Hey, Lunchbox, how's it going? What else did you have on there on that list? Near. Okay, yeah. Near's one of the ones I think you sent me recently. I'm not sure if we've actually had a chance to speak about it or not. Doesn't look like I've really charted this one too much. Well, weekly time frame, it's down at these low levels. Let's just take a second and get these lines as close as we can to where we think they should be. Okay, and then once again, we'll go in now. If you've got the time in the day to get in there and go for it, there's always a pump to chase. But you've got to be like Rambo with the gun, and you got to be in there, and you've got to mean it. Um, there's big runs in the market where you don't have to work that hard, and they're a lot bigger runs. You just have to be patient. I'd really like to see something. It's kind of not as boring as I would like it to be. And we're still fresh off of a cross. Let me redo that bottom idea. I mean, there's definitely two areas of support there. So I took those two bottoms, just cloned it up, and it kind of holds out as another point. So there are 2 points here to fight for as far as support goes. I'm not seeing any amazing looking patterns right offhand. I'd definitely be watching for these levels to hold big time. Much like GRT, how much lower are we going to go unless it's going to zero here? I mean, it's there. It's there. I can see it happening. I'd be watching for us to kind of we go from here to sideways and then change. I'd just be watching for more validation on the trend actually rolling around towards upward direction here. But these are definitely your levels for sure on near. I'd almost even take this more like this. Get rid of the FOMO candles here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, everything's looking pretty darn low right now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll pull fib. I'll pull fib sometimes. A lot of times, what I'll do is just I'll have people pull fibs themselves because I find if I start doing it, then people take my numbers super seriously. Obviously, you can pull your fibs and get numbers off of it. But that's kind of a due diligence thing. Go in, and that's a great place to pull your lines. But overall, you're down in that area. If you want to get fine detailed, absolutely go in, and you can do it in different time frames with different patterns, and you can lock it in as far as you want to go with it. I now realize that I have to move my chat into a different spot because this is the first time it's been busy, and I have to look over here to see it. We are close to the news. Upside, yeah, okay, yeah. We'll go over more when we do our next Discord. BH, we'll sit down and we'll lock in on target entry and stuff like that. Um, you won't want to pay me next month if I teach you everything right here today. So I'm gonna saving some on generalized stuff for our when we have our chat. We'll lock in on that stuff. I promise. Okay. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here and see what it's doing. That being said, BH, when I go off of here this afternoon, we can most definitely jump right into the Discord if you'd like to, and we can go over some of that stuff. So, David, you've 2013. I've got to ask, whereabouts would Bitcoin have been at that price? Because I remember the first time I pulled up a Bitcoin chart, I think I was around $3,000 to $5,000 USD. I'm curious in 2013. I that sounds like some pretty cheap Bitcoin. Classic. Beautiful. That's a classic story. That's a great starting story for Bitcoin. I love it. Bought my first Bitcoin at $45, panic sold it at 38. If that doesn't prove that you have at this point, you are a Bitcoin Spartan, an absolute warrior. Pizza Day doesn't have anything on you. That's incredible, man. Thank you for sharing. You probably how often you think about that a lot, huh? I've not even come close to something that phenomenal, and I think about it more than I should. Those are lessons, not losses. Lessons. That's okay. All that thinking about that you've done probably has made you an exponentially better trader. Yeah, I was lucky. I had some guys that I grew up with, a couple of them, and they were way into it, and I had no idea what they were talking about. Didn't even consider it as a thing. They were on and on and on about it, but I didn't even start looking until probably, I would say, 14 or 15. I mean, the first time I really looked at Bitcoin, I had heard about it when it was around $100, but the first time I really looked at it, it was, yeah, I'd say around the 3 to 5,000. So, kudos to you. If only we had just held one, eh? That's, but how do you know? I mean, back then it was sketchy. You had all the Silicon Valley scam stuff happening, and it was really concerning at that point as to whether it was ever going to amount to anything. I have a conure. If you hear her squawk, that's because she agrees or disagrees. I haven't figured that out yet. Again, guys, if you are in here, I can't thank you enough for the support on this fine day. Just chilling out. Few minutes away from the news drop here. Going to see if anything crazy happens and see if it gives any validation to any of our ideas so that we can claim that through the power of market cipher and technical analysis, we can predict the future. That's why we're all here. It's not the money, right? We're just trying to predict the future with charts. We all know it. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to step away for just a moment and I will be back long before the news starts. So give me a moment. All right, we're back, and it looks like Bitcoin is doing just what we want it to for now. That never lasts, does it? All right. Are we? Okay, well, our boring little trade is getting a little better. I mean, again, like I said earlier, I wasn't looking to do anything crazy today. Normally, I would have made a nice entry there. Just news day, I wasn't going to do that. But we're happy, you know. If it plays out and we score $100, $50 real fast, that's super cool. Chilling out, trading the news with everybody. I wasn't about to do something wild on a day like today. So, but again, targets down here. This target down here happens. It's a great trade. So I guess we're swing trading this one today because we're actually expecting the move to happen or hoping for the move. Oh wow, eh? Yeah. That would change my attitude for sure. Be like, okay, if you're gonna do that, then I'm gonna give it a shot for sure. It's cool that you knew somebody personally that happened with, because I mean, when I got into crypto and I first mentioned it to anybody around me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're going straight to jail!" Like it was such a weird thing. Nobody around me was doing it. It was only people online. I was like the weird guy in my area. It was gambling and buying drug tokens off of Silicon Valley. It was not a good place when I first got in, right? So it's super cool to know that you had somebody as proof to kind of give you the confidence to get in and start working at it. To be honest with you, around where I am in Canada here, there's still a large majority of people that somehow still think of it that way. Some about Canadians, they want to be poor and mad about it. I don't know what it is. 2 minutes until this news starts. So, is this the pre-dump before the news pump? That's what we were saying earlier. Said whatever it does, it's going to try to go the opposite direction to start. Now I've got to think. I'm probably going to get stopped out because it started to make me think I might be right today. Smart man. I bet you they're very happy they did that. I'm sure she's very happy that he did that. It's funny. When I first got married, I'm divorced now. I guess I didn't buy enough. Joking. When I first got married, there was some money involved, and I remember sitting down and trying to present buying Bitcoin with a significant amount of that money, and it was just rejected immediately. And boy, oh boy, I never hear about it. I always hear about it every time I see her. Like, we really should have done that. We should have bought that Bitcoin when you said, yeah, it would have been pretty amazing. But hey, you don't know. The chance he took and it paid off. Good for him. That's what big balls, right? It pays. I follow a gentleman on X, and he used to work. There's a gentleman that was in here. His name's Rick, and they used to work together. And he did the same thing. They sold everything that they owned, quit their jobs, quit their businesses, bought a van, and invested every penny they had into Bitcoin back in like the 2012, 2013 area. Now they just cruise the Bahamas and do viral Bitcoin videos. That's their life now. All right, so I do have the news up. I'm not sharing it on here. So if you want to be checking that, do so. What I will do is next time I will try to set up the extra screen for that. Then maybe I can have the news going in the corner as well. Oh, it looks like Alex O Crypto is well right now. If you guys aren't following Alex O Crypto, you need to be doing so. Yeah, exactly. That's just it, right? I mean, anybody that got that super early adoption and nailed it, they got it. Well, everybody else is going to get it if they got the discipline and the mind for it. So exactly is right. You got the smarts for it, and especially the discipline. We've been here since 13, so it's only a matter of time before it all comes to you, friend. I was hoping for a lot more than this. I mean, he must not have said the right thing yet. I guess we're hoping for him to say just the right thing, eh? Looks like everyone's coming online right now, though, so everybody's getting ready for it, whatever it's going to be. So far, it's looking exactly like we're thinking. Pretend it's giving us what we want. Fake out. Take everybody to the laundromat. Hopefully, it just bearish retests and dumps, and I win. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tom Crown's great. Casper, it's great. Favorite rapper in the world. It's all of these guys, man. The whole community's so cool. When I first started doing this, there were so many people to watch out for. It's so awesome to see all of these guys out here making this space for everybody. Very cool. It's very inspirational. How long have I been on for? Matter of fact, I might just cut it right now because we've been on for quite some time. And maybe recap it here and then come back on in a while. I think that's what we'll do. So if anybody's in here right now, go find one of those awesome places we were just talking about and show them some love for a little while. And then we will meet up here later on after those guys are on and done their thing. All right? We will hopefully see you later on then. Frankie, yeah, Frankie Candles is really good too. I like Frankie a lot. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna hop off and maybe jump in and show some love to all these other guys because that's a big part of my day is trying to also help bump everybody else's community up. So I'm gonna call it and then maybe we'll come back on in a couple hours and see what happens after the dust settles. Thank you so much to everybody that came here today. Like, subscribe, and we will see you either later today or most definitely tomorrow. all the love in the world. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great rest of your day if we don't see you again today. All right. Cheers.